Good morning, beautiful beings of everlastingness, and also right here, right now. The divine presence couldn't be stronger within you, my dears. The force, the force is with you. So, welcome to our inner reflections this morning, my dears. To get to that part of you that is a version that is unseen, unnoticed, and yet the real you. So I'm betting on that this is going to help you a lot, and it's going to help me a lot. It's going to help our world a lot. That we can explore we can explore together the version of us that is, like I just said, invisible, intangible, not easily recognized, and yet it is the most beautiful and powerful of anything and everything. And I'll just warm us up with this beautiful quote from Rumi. He said, "How beautifully," he said, Rumi, well, how beautifully Rumi said it. And he said, "Do not feel lonely. The entire universe is inside you." Do not feel lonely. The entire universe is within you. Yeah. I gotta do it. Am I Yeah, I got my recording on and everybody is here with us. Let me see. All right, Lynn Adams, welcome back. Hammy, I've been thinking about you, to say the least. Welcome. Thank you for coming on. Beautiful light, are you? And yeah, we're just talking about Rumi saying, don't play small. Don't. The entire universe is inside you, but don't play small. Stop acting so small. You are the universe. Remember, you've probably heard this before. You are the universe in a static motion. Isn't that beautiful? You are the universe in a static motion. Yeah, this is a day where we just have such trust and faith that deep inside of us is the most beautiful everything that you could ever want, any and everything you could ever desire, and it has to do with everything that's beautiful and lasting, and a static motion. We're a static motion, it's ecstasy in motion, OMG. So yeah, stop acting. The universe is, you are the universe in a static motion. Set your life on fire and seek those who fan your flames. Set your life on fire, Lynn Adams, and let those and only hang out with those who flame you up. All right. All right. So yeah, let me read that exactly how it is. Set your life on fire and seek those who fan your flames. Set your life on fire and seek those who fan your flames. I had the feeling that this is you, Lynn Adams. This is you, Lisa and Jim. This is you, Cami. This is me. This is anybody that youth can think of right now, without even giving it a second thought, that you can just say, yeah, underneath the outer facade, the outer, personality, the outer, kind of identity crises that we all are in. There is everything we could want and everything we can dream about. Should we give this little close encounter with that deep us this morning? Let me turn the page here, my dears. This is discovering the deeper self. This is called discovering the deeper self, a journey beyond identity and ego. You ready to have a little discovery this morning? Or we could say a major discovery this morning. Let's try it. And let's not just try it, but let's feel it. Let's be it, right? I mean, isn't Thich Nhat Hanh said, he said that most people are so afraid to just be themselves because they don't feel like they always feel they need to do something to feel better, to actually feel like they're you know worth something. And and he said, but how about just being? How about just being? But this is the beginning of what is called the version of you that the world never introduced you to. Certainly, probably your parents didn't. And now we get to hear it. Now we get to hear it. Doesn't matter what was the past. Now we get to hear it. That version of us that exists beyond the identity that we've been given and that we have brought into. All right. So that identity is beyond our name. It's beyond our name. It's beyond our body. So just see what this feels like. That you are beyond your name. You are beyond your body. You are beyond your past. You are beyond your trauma. You are beyond your fears. You're beyond your labels. You're beyond the religion you were taught. You are beyond the beliefs you inherited. And you're beyond everything the world told you that you were. There is a deeper you. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. You know, beyond your name, you're beyond your body, you're beyond your past, you're beyond your trauma, you're beyond your fears, or you're deeper, or you're deeper, you're a layer way beyond or underneath these things, beyond labels, beyond the religion you were taught, beyond the beliefs you inherited, and beyond everything the world told you that you were. In other words, drop the whole dream drama that you have, that we have going on in our minds right now today. The whole dream drama, just drop it. Just drop it and see if you can identify with all these things that aren't you. Number one, to identify with all these things that you're not you, right? Just to so you can say to yourself, nope, that's not me. Nope, that's not me. Nope, that's not me, right? And start to feel what it would be like, really, honestly, my dears, to just walk free, to just walk with an absolute pure mind and heart today, to walk with such trust and faith that the divine beloved has it all figured out for you. And all you got to do is just let go of these old disguises and things that you have so-called been given the identity for you, right? But there's a deeper you. Let's explore that now. A version of you, my dears, that exists in connection, goes along kind of with that Rumi quote, that you are the universe in a static motion, right? That there's a version of you, my dears Lynn and Lisa and Jim and Cami, that exists in connection with and as an expression of the eternal source from which all things originate. Yeah, that's all. That's well said. Shall we listen to it again? There's a deeper you, a version of you that exists in connection with and as an expression of the eternal source from which all things originate. Wow. Imagine carrying that beautiful idea in your heart space today, that you exist in connection with and an expression of the eternal source from which all things originate, that we are connected. We are so connected to the eternal source from which all things originate, my dear. and we say that we lack something, we say that something isn't quite right in our lives, that's just the old story popping up. But remember, we're none of that. We're none of that big list that I just read, trauma and fears and labels, even the religion that we were taught and everything that we've been told. Just wonder what it could be like today to have a day off from being from our false identities, just a day off, or just a half hour off, or just a few moments off, just to see what it exploring just a little bit of letting go completely, like it's time to leave the body, right? And you got to give it up anyway. Yeah, that might be a nice little practice today that you are just preparing to, go to the other side and have an adventure with that deeper you, the version of you that everyone is afraid of if they're afraid of death, right? Let's go and experience it. This is kind of what this is suggesting in some ways. This goes on to say, and I don't believe that version of you is somewhere out there. And I don't believe, this person says, that version of you is somewhere out there. I believe, and maybe we believe too, it is within the deepest layer of our own consciousness, the deepest layer of you, the deepest layer of your own awareness. How deep can you expand in a deep way your awareness of what we just said, that we exist in connection with and as an expression of the eternal source of which all things originate? That idea. And we just lock it into our heart space. We just lock it into all the goodness that we've experienced in life. Let's just put all the rest of it aside. All the goodness, all those moments of aha, all those moments where maybe even some tears drop from your eyes, right? Those kind of moments. Let's just recall those. That may help us a lot in this discovering this deeper you, all right? That deeper us. And I don't think it's out there. I'm saying that for me. I don't think it's out there, and I believe it's within the deepest layer of your own consciousness. And so this is why we can pray when we close our eyes, that we are not simply asking some distant being in the sky to fix my life. This is why we can we can maybe discard this idea of trying to pray to something that's out there, my dears. And asking like asking the sky to fix something in our lives, when we can go inward. We can go inward, and this idea of stillness. Be still. Be still. It's just like at any time, take a break again from this life, from these false identities, and just be still. What is that like? Be still. Oh, is there something else I need to do? And do I have a technique to practice? Or can I just be still? Can I just be still and feel? Can I just, muse on what we're talking about, that I'm connected to all that is? I'm ecstasy in motion, my dears, ecstatic motion. I am the universe itself. How can I be lonely? Right? Things like that. And could I just sit there and muse on some of those bigger truths, those so-called outfits that we haven't ever worn? They're in our closet. Beautiful attire, beautiful, garments of consciousness that we haven't even tried on yet. So this goes on to say, let's go inward and become still. Just go inward and become still. Yeah, a great possibility for today, right? Just a great possibility for today. and see if you buy into this. I am stepping away as I am in the stillness. I am stepping away from the noise long enough. I'm just stepping away from the noise long enough to listen for the part of me. Are you ready to listen to that part of you that existed before the world told you who you were? Are you ready to step away from the noise long enough, my dears? And that goes for me too, of course, to listen for the part of me that existed before the world told me all the other stuff and still continues to try to do that. You know, in other words, you're a free spirit. You can be a free spirit today. Yep. You can explore something that maybe you wouldn't have if you didn't come on this stream this morning, my dears. Lynn Adams. I think you picked an awesome day, Lynn Adams, and you too, Cami. Just for the remembrance, right? Just for the little tickling, that the divine is just kind of tickling you with these possibilities that could easily be, just again in the closet, but you haven't tried on the outfit of a new state of mind, a new state of consciousness, a new you, but it is the real you. All right. And then it goes on to say, if you can step away long enough to listen to a part of you that existed before the world told you all the other stuff, you can ask the source, show me the path. Show me the path. I remember a quote from Yogananda where he says, remove the veil between us. Lord, remove the veil between us. And I made a little song of it because I just love those words. Remove the veil between us. And then Yogananda says, come, Spirit, come. Remove the veil between us. Come, Spirit, come. Come, Spirit, come. Show me the way to reach thee. Almost the exact words that we're listening here. I'm going to ask the source. It says here in this post that I'm reading to you right now, show me the path. Yogananda, in that poem of his, I could swear that they got these words from his poem, which says in this particular stanza, show me the path. But in Yogananda's poem, it show me the way to reach thee. Show me the path. Show me the way to reach thee. And then this goes on to say, show me what I cannot see. Show me what I cannot see, what I cannot understand, and even more importantly, what I maybe not be interested in because I'm just pulled out to the outer reaches of anything that's really the real deal about me, right? I'm out there somewhere. I still think I'm out there somewhere, right? So show me what I cannot see and reveal what I have forgotten. Reveal, and that's what could come up in your stillness sit, you know, just sit, be still, and know that I am God, right? You can ask that source to reveal what you have forgotten and expose, and this may be even more important, expose what is false, not needed, not necessary. I am preoccupied. I'm preoccupied with this part of me that is in a static motion with the universe, right? This goes on to say, remove what is standing between me and the highest expression. Remove what is standing between me and the highest expression of who I was created to become. remove whatever is that wall between me and the highest expression of who I was created to become. Even that idea can make all the difference in the universe today for us. Just to know that there is a higher expression of us who I have been created to become. Yes, indeed. And maybe, and because maybe prayer isn't about convincing God to come down to us, maybe prayer isn't about convincing God to come down to us, my dears, right? As I ask God to remove the veil between us and whatever's standing between me and the highest expression of me that I've been created to become. Maybe prayer isn't about convincing God to come down to my level or come down to us. Maybe, just maybe, Lynn, if we can stretch our intuitive imagination some, maybe prayer is about removing everything within us. Remove the veil between us, come, Spirit, come. Remove the veil between us, come, Spirit, come. I yearn to know thee and to hear thy voice. I yearn to know thee and to hear thy voice. Come, Spirit, come. Right? So maybe my prayer is about removing everything within me that prevents me from recognizing that the divine was never absent. Maybe that could be the secret. That could be the key to the kingdom. Possibly, my dears, just possibly, right? Yeah. Prayer is about removing everything within us that prevents us from recognizing that the divine was never absent. That, you know what? Maybe we could say it this way, that we never did have a bad hair day. And I mean a really bad hair day, right? Maybe, maybe a situation where it still hurts to think about when it pops up in your mind, right? Maybe the divine was never absent during that particular crisis that we might be under or be in, right? Maybe he's never left our side or she has never left our side. Maybe this deeper version of us that we really don't have to figure it out. Maybe it's just the idea that I am seeking the deepest me, that there is a deepest me. Maybe I could just hold that thought. Maybe I could just let go of, the small things. Don't not sweat the small things that I get overly ramped up for in a negative way because it's just because it really isn't me, right? It's the stuff that I've been told, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The ancient mystics understood something profound, this goes on to say. The source is not merely something we worship, my dears. So as we sit still and remove the veil between us, and we yearn to know thee and to hear thy voice, show us the way, Lord, to reach you. Things like that. Maybe the source is not merely something we worship. Maybe it's the foundation from which consciousness itself emerges. Maybe the source is just the foundation from which consciousness emerges. Maybe I just need to sit, be still, wait, and watch. Maybe that's it. Right? Maybe we just need to sit and wait and watch, right? For that surge of the source as the foundation from which the consciousness within me emerges. Look at that. Pretty nice stuff. We are not independent creations, my dears, floating through an empty universe. We're just not that independent creation floating through an empty universe, not knowing where we're going or where we come from. We are expressions of something infinitely greater than the temporary identities. Remember that list that I read early on? We are expressions of something infinitely greater than the temporary identities we have constructed and that have been constructed around us. We have greater, infinitely greater expressions of all this stuff, all that stuff that we read, that big list that we read early on. Then this says, think of a wave. The wave has a name. It's called a wave. It's got a shape. It's got a beginning and an ending, just a wave, right? It appears separate from the ocean, but the wave was never anything other than ocean expressing itself as a wave. So your incredibly maybe bad hair days, you're still the expression of the ocean, my dears. But we have kind of convinced ourselves that we're having a bad hair day when it's not true. The force is with us, and it's always with us. So humanity could be just like this wave that is never separate from the ocean, expressing itself as a wave. You know, I used to surf a lot. I would love the idea that I was on a wave that had never been ridden before because I was on it. Sometimes there are others too, right? And perhaps this goes on to say that, and perhaps, that we can express ourselves just as the waves express themselves uniquely. Perhaps humanity is the same. We experience ourselves as separate, but underneath the separation is the mystery. And I'm just asking that, can we sit still along to really enjoy the mystery today? Just sit still, wait and watch, right? Just be still and muse on the deeper you, even if you don't understand it, even if you don't feel it. What do you think meditation is? It's what you make it to be, right? It's what you make it to be. The source expressing itself through form, and that. So we can get underneath the separation and into the mystery, my dears. And the source expresses itself through form. And that changes everything because it's the deepest part of you. Because the deepest part of you, my dears, Lynn and Lisa and Cami, where's Narayanji? Yeah, that deepest part of us originates in the eternal. So there we are again, eternal. Eternal spirit, remove the veil, Lord, and show us the way to reach the eternal. Then awakening isn't about becoming something you aren't. It's about remembering, my dears, and you all know this. It's about remembering what you already are. The ego says, I am this body. The awakened consciousness says, I have a body. The ego says, I am my past. The awakened consciousness says, my past is something I experienced. The ego says, I am my thoughts. The awakened consciousness asks, then who is watching the thoughts? Who is this watcher? Who is this one that sits still? Who is this one that just knows that she is an expression of an infinite ocean of God's presence, of God consciousness? So who's watching those thoughts? Suddenly the entire game changes. Who's watching those thoughts? You are, that deeper version of you. She's settled in. He's settled in. He's happy as a clam at high tide, my dears. The real you. Because when you discover the awareness behind your thoughts, you begin discovering the doorway to the deeper self. That's simple, right? We've heard this before, but this is just a pretty good, you know, reminder, really good reminder. So when we discover the awareness behind the thoughts, when we sit still and just muse, as Yogananda said, as I muse on thee. Yeah, as I muse on thee. There's something about a beautiful, I can't think of the rest of the words, but his little poem starts, as I muse on thee. A hidden lightning light flashes through my body. And oh, what bliss I feel at the sight of thy light. It was something like that as I muse on these. As he just sat one day to muse, and lightning flash just went through his whole body of energy, of light, of God consciousness. Yeah. So this is where the concept of the higher self becomes powerful. As we discover the doorway to the deeper us, my dears. The higher self isn't the ego with more power. It isn't the version of you that gets everything at once. It is in some cosmic permission slip for the personality to declare itself divine. It is something much, much deeper, much, much deeper. Go deeper, go deeper. It is a part of you that becomes increasingly, my dears, increasingly aligned with truth, love, wisdom, freedom, compassion. This is the better list. Truth, love, wisdom, freedom, compassion, and the source from which consciousness originates. The source from which consciousness originates. Wow, the source. Let's sit and muse on the source, my dears. Yeah, from which consciousness originates. And the purpose of spiritual growth isn't to make the ego bigger, it is to make the ego transparent enough for something greater to move through it. All right. We're just transparent, invisible, intangible, deeper us. That's all. It's to make the ego transparent so that something greater can pour through us now. This is what is meant to become a vessel, my dears, not an empty person, but a clear person. A person whose thoughts, words, decisions, and actions become increasingly aligned with the deepest truth they can perceive. A person whose thoughts, words, decisions, and actions become increasingly aligned with the deepest truth they can perceive. And this is why the inner work matters, because you cannot become a clear vessel while refusing to examine the darkness within yourself. The shadow must be seen, the wounds must be confronted, the conditioning must be questioned, the addictions must be understood, the false identities must be dismantled, the fears must be brought into the light. And this is why Divine Mother is taking care of all of that. You don't have to even think about what I just said. It's not because those things make you evil, but because anything unconscious can control you. Awakening, therefore, my dears, is not an escape. It's a return to yourself, a return beneath the programming, beneath the conditioning, beneath the noise, beneath the mask, beneath the personality, until you begin to recognize the consciousness that was there before you even learned your name. And maybe that is what we mean when we speak about finding our highest timeline, not necessarily some fantasy universe where everything magically becomes perfect, but the trajectory created when we stop allowing unconscious patterns to determine our future. So we're almost done. Every conscious choice changes the direction. Every time you choose awareness over reaction, truth over comfort, love over fear, discipline over compulsion, and all those wonderful other things that we can do instead of getting caught in the conditioning, you become a different version of yourself, and that version creates a different future, a different path, a different life, a different reality. So when I pray, my prayer isn't give me everything I want, it is align me with who I am capable of becoming. So as you sit still in the silence, sitting in the silence on the sunny banks of your mind, just ask to be aligned with what you're capable of becoming, my dears. Don't simply change my circumstances, Lord. Change me. Change the consciousness through which I experience everything. Don't simply remove my problems. Show me the way to reach thee and what those problems are here to teach me. Don't simply give me power. Remove the things within me. Remove the veil between us that prevent me from using power wisely. Don't make my will happen. Bring my will into alignment with the deepest truth within me. Because maybe the greatest spiritual realization isn't I have found God. Maybe it is I finally realized I was never separate from the source I was searching for. That's what you find when you sit still. The kingdom wasn't somewhere I had to travel to. The answer wasn't hidden in some distant galaxy. The divine wasn't waiting for me. I didn't know this thing was so long. I didn't know the divine was waiting for me somewhere beyond the stars. The journey was inward. The veil was within. The doorway was within. The remembering was within. And the greatest mystery of all may be this: the source created countless expressions of itself and then hid the memory of their origin inside them. So that one day, after enough suffering and darkness, we close our eyes, turn inward, and remember we are not the totality of the identity this world gave you. We are something deeper, something older, something connected to the eternal, and your spiritual journey is not about becoming more important, but more aligned, more conscious, more loving, more free, more awake, until the life you live becomes a vessel for the deepest version of who you were always capable of becoming, my dears. The source is not something you have to possess, it is something you have to remember. And perhaps awakening is simply the moment when you stop asking, where's God? And finally begin asking, what must I remove within myself so that I can recognize the divine that has been with me here all alone? Remember who you are, clear the veil, align with the source, become the vessel. I'm 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 a little sorry that I went over so much and it was a long read, but sometimes when if you go back and listen to this stuff and you're just, in that mystery, you're just sitting still and you just hear this stuff and you're not doing anything except going, just kind of in awe because it just rings true. It just rings true. It just rings true. It just rings true. All right. So that's that, my dears. Thank you so much, Lynn Adams. You spent a good picked a good day to come online. I think let's rub our hands together, my dears. We'll do our little pujas, which are our little rituals, right? Starting with an om. Inhale the breath. Let's bring it on home with the om. Om. Let's do it again. Let's go home with the Om, my dears. Let's bring everything with us too. Everything that everyone already is, just like we are. Everyone is in the same boat. All right. Yeah. Lynn Adams knows that. Oh. All right. Now we get to just make sure that we have our armor on today, that we have all this love just in our crown chakra, thousands of petals of nectar drink. All right. So we love and we care. We have the ability to hold on or just hold a hug for like 20 seconds or something, like we're doing right now. We care. Maybe make it self care. And then that self care comes and turns into world care. All right. All right. So we care. And then comes the sharing, my dears. Just so natural that it just pours out of you, right? Remember who you are. You are something so special you can't even begin to think about it. Don't think about it, just love about it and let it pour through you and let it spread out into the world. All right. That alone will bring you a lot of peace and happiness. So thank you, my dears. Sorry I went a little bit over, but I think I am satisfied. And I hope you are too, Lynn Adams. Thank you for coming on. Hope everything's going great in your storybook story of life. Yeah. Your story of a beautiful love affair with the divine beloved. And that is that. Have a good one, everybody. Love you more. Aho. Toodles with oodles of love.